Back for another edition of In the Huddle. Carl Dukes put them up along with my man Jason La Canfora, and of course Brian Baldinger is a part of this podcast as well. Guys, as we come to you today, trade deadline. As we record this podcast, there are deals that have happened. There are deals that are going on. We won't have the full list because obviously by the end of the day, maybe some things have changed. But let's talk about what's happened already, Jason. Jonathan Mingo, Cowboys get a wide receiver and a 7th round pick. The Panthers get a 4th round pick, and this is a fire sale. The Panthers, we know they're playing for the number 1 overall pick. It's no secret. I mean, it's just what it is. That is something, because Jerry Jones had said they were going to try to make the team better. I don't know how that makes them better, but okay. I think the big move is the Lions, right? They needed help on the defensive front, and they go get Zadarius Smith. That, to me, is the move so far of the day. Give me your thoughts on this, man.
The Mingo thing, I mean, it's hard for me not to chuckle. Like, I forgot he was in the league. Like, I got to be honest. Like, I was like, oh, yeah. I don't know, Carl. Like, Dallas sucks. Like, that's going to be a high 4th round pick. Like, that's going to be a high 4th round pick. I don't know why. Like, I'm sure, look, I know why. Jerry loved this kid in college. Obviously, Jerry, the GM of the Cowboys, their chief scout, must have loved this kid in college. And Jerry's had some success picking receivers, so I'm sure he thinks he's a savant at it. But, like, they gave away Deontay Johnson in a cash dump. Like, they ate his salary, right, to move him for nothing for the Baltimore Ravens. Basically, the Ravens get the right to a Deontay Johnson comp pick. And in exchange, Carolina gets like a late 6th round pick from a team that might win the Super Bowl. It might be the last pick in the 6th round. Yet Jerry trades what's probably a high 4 for a guy, Jonathan Mingo, who couldn't see the field, stuck behind Deontay Johnson and whatever's left of Adam Thielen. Like, it's just horrible asset management, And you can talk about, it's just a 4th round pick. Well, didn't they throw away a 4th round pick for Trey Lance? Like, you throw around enough mid-round picks, and your team is this shitty. All of a sudden, you start craving 4th round picks. Like, they should be selling whatever they can for 4th round picks, not buying, draft busts for 4th round picks at a position that depends on the quarterback, and you're stuck with your backup quarterback. So why don't you go get an offensive lineman and try to run the goddamn football? You used to be able to do that. Whatever. So that's inconsequential. Good for the Panthers. Zadarius Smith helps. I still think they need a pure edge guy in Detroit. Like, it's a nice move. And Zadarius Smith, especially when you're able to get him on twist and stunts inside, line him up on some less athletic guards, he can be a difference maker still in this league. And they didn't give up anything for him. But that's all the more reason why to try to add something else on the edge, a pure edge guy, someone who could maybe even line up in that wide 9 and help collect some of the mistakes that Zadarius Smith can cause with an inside pass rush. I don't see any reason why they don't go all out. And look, Mark Davis in recent years has traded Khalil Mack. He's traded Derek Carr, right? Derek Carr is quarterback who he just gave all that money to. Devontae Adams, like, he wouldn't take 2 1s for Max Crosby. I don't know, man. I would keep throwing picks at him till he said, I mean, you that town has waited so long and you've done so well in the draft that I get it. You want to, there's part of you that wants to keep all that draft capital, but there's got to be a time and place for everything. And boy, they should have their foot completely on that accelerator right now. So we'll see, what else they do. Maybe it's a Jadeveon Clowney or something like that. Maybe it's a G's Ojulari. I don't know. It needs to be something else. Something off the edge. I think Pittsburgh's going to get a wide receiver here at some point. Is it Mike Williams? Is it DK Metcalf? I don't know. They're trying and they want to, and they see a real, possibility there to win that division. And they haven't played any division games yet, the Steelers. They're one of those teams with the weird schedule. So there'll be more of this to dissect, on the other side of 5 p.m. Tuesday. But that's the bare minimum for the Lions, right? Like, that's the baseline. They met the baseline. Now exceed it.
Zadarius Smith goes to the Lions and a 2026 7th-round pick.
It's a salary dump.
Yes, correct.
He's making $10 million basically for 1 year. You go pay the rest of it.
This is a no-brainer for the Lions. And this is what we always talk about. Like, what are the terms of the deal? What are you looking to give up? I think this is a no-brainer, and it certainly makes them better. Even if he comes in, and let's just say he's a rotational guy, Jason, he makes them deeper. I mean, give me a break.
Yes.
Like that, this helps them. But to your point, are they done, or are they going all in? It's in the huddle. Carl Dukes, along with Jason Canfora, as we recap everything that happened last week and some of the stuff that's going on today. Again, trade deadline. We know it's November 5th, and many of you are worried about other things that are going to happen today. We are worried about what's going on around the NFL as we talk about it. I'll say this, the Cowboy move, and just real quick, it's almost as if this appeased the fan base, which in itself is a bad look.
Yes.
Because they looked so bad Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. It's almost as if Jerry's going, hey, look, I'm going to do something, and I'm trying to get this team better. But the move itself is inconsequential. I can't even speak. And I think more than anything, that Jerry knows this team's not going anywhere. And now that Dak is on the shelf, he's on the IR, for those of you who have not heard. So he'll be out at least 4 weeks. CeeDee Lamb's banged up. We know the other injuries they're dealing with. This team is going nowhere. Nowhere. And so I don't understand this. Like, I'm with you. I would have gone and gotten
you do understand it. Let them eat cake. I'm going to throw them a crumb. I'm going to throw them a bone. Hey, you said I'm a shitty GM. I can't make any trades. I got you a wide receiver. I think he's a diamond in the rough. You know what else about this trade, Carl? He takes on no salary. It's a guy making no money on a rookie contract. So I did something. I can distract him, right? It's 3-card Monty. Don't look over here. Look over here. Look, I did something. He's going to be better than you think. I know this guy. I would have taken him even higher in the draft. Blah, 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 blah. He takes on no salary. It's an optics distractionary move. And the Cowboys will suck forevermore.
Real quick, Dak, obviously, I got to say this, and then we'll move on, Jason. This is not all on him. They gave him nothing to work with. And for Dak Prescott, who, again, is thrown for basically 1,800 yards, he's on pace, and we know this, for the worst non-injury season in his career, which was obviously when he broke his leg. This part of me feels bad for Dak because they knew going into the season they didn't have running backs. They didn't have a running game.
Yep.
He knew he only had
line.
Correct.
Rapid offensive line.
You put all this on Dak, and now he's wetting the bed because he's got to make all these damn plays, and it's not on him. This is solely on Jerry. All right, guys, let's talk about what else is going on because there are some division races that are getting interesting. And real quick, we got to mention the Chiefs from last night. Chiefs played on Monday Night Football. They remain undefeated. They beat the Bucs in overtime. The big conversation, at least today, Jason, is why didn't the Bucs go for 2 when they had a chance to maybe win the game? Did you have a problem with it?
Not really, because if he wins I feel like if he wins the toss, as good as the Chiefs defense is, if he wins the coin toss, I think it was Todd Bowles' way of sort of empowering his offense. And Baker, you know what? Like, it wasn't prolific because we lost our wide receivers, but it was functional enough. And if we scored 24 already on the road, I think we can go and win this game offensively. Like, I think his offense is his better unit right now. And it is still Patrick Mahomes. And so you could say, oh, well, you think you're going to get that play right there. But Mike Evans is the best red zone option in football. He's not there. You know what I mean? Godwin's the best slot option in the red zone. He's not there. They're going to take Kate Otten away. Like, I don't know, man. I don't have a huge problem with it, I guess.
I don't either.
I've tried to get on board this because everybody seemingly like.
To me, Jason, on the road, it was the right play, right? You kick the field goal. If they go do what they did, fine. We go to overtime. I just feel like that was the right play. You go for 2. I just feel like you didn't give your team a chance to win it. Yeah. And I'm okay with it. I agree with you on this. I've been searching all morning. Like, is there really a big deal with this? We're so caught up in analytics right now with the whole they've got to go for 2. This is the reason why. And sometimes I'm like, no, you're on the road. You've played well enough to be in the damn game.
Right.
Kick the field goal. Let's see where this goes. You know?
If you win the coin toss, I mean, Baker Mayfield's
right.
worst decision was he picked tails, and it ended up being heads. But I mean, what the hell? But like, honestly, if you're watching that game, you're like, whoever wins this coin toss, the other defense is kind of spent, whichever one it is. Like, even if they win the coin toss and kick a field goal, you've probably bled the clock, right? So Mahomes has got to operate a little more quickly than they'd like. Mahomes has got a gimpy ankle. Like, at least it looked like he might have a gimpy ankle. I guess it turns out he's Superman, because that didn't seem to bother him all that much in overtime. But like, I don't have a huge problem with it. He lost the coin toss, and then he got beat by Mahomes in overtime. Well, I mean, that's get in line, brother. I mean, that's what he and Andy Reid have been doing to everybody since they got together. Like, I feel bad for the Bucs, man. It's a pretty good football team, and
it is.
And things are going to conspire against them. And Atlanta's going to end up winning that division by 2 or 3 games, and it's going to have a lot to do with bad luck. And luck exists; it's real. There are teams that will escape injury this year, and there will be teams that have entire position groups wiped out by injury. And unfortunately for the Bucs, they're in the latter.
Jason, nobody's playing better. Listen, Chiefs are undefeated. Nobody's playing better than the Lions, bro. Nobody.
No, I agree.
Nobody might not be playing better than Jared Goff, except Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
And so here's what Goff has done. They've won 6 straight games. They're the only team since 1940 with more touchdowns, 28 than incompletions.
Yeah.
24 in a 6-game span. All right, we're talking about 6 games. And in that 6 games, you talk about Goff. This is crazy. 82% completion rate, 13 touchdown passes, 1 interception, 140 passer rating. And Jason, they go on the road and beat the Packers in the rain, which how many years have we said, oh, indoor team, they can't play in elements. All that crap's out of the window.
They're built to win that game at Lambeau on a soft field better than the Packers are. Like they are. The best unit in that game for me was the Lions offensive line. And now you want to turn it into a mutter, right? It's not a game for thoroughbreds. It's a day for mutters. And the field is crappy, and it's raining all day, and it's 35-mile-an-hour winds, so you don't want to pass it as much. And then we're gonna beat you with both of these backs, and we're gonna play keep away, and you're not gonna get the ball as much. And when you have the ball, your young quarterback's gonna feel like he has to do too much. And our quarterback's healthier than yours too. And so, yeah, I think the game actually, the weather and all the game conditions favored the Lions. They're a dome team that's not built to exclusively win in a dome, period, point blank. They were going to win that game in the trenches. And, Jacobs came out the first drive and kind of ran all over them, and they recalibrated. Jordan Love, to me, isn't healthy. He hasn't been healthy all year. He wasn't even healthy in the Brazil game. Like, his fundamental, like, he just doesn't look right. He's compensating to me. And that's leading to some ball placement accuracy problems. Yeah, I mean, the Lions have a great thing going. Like we said, they need to address the defense. Losing Aiden Hutchinson is a huge blow. Like, he might have been the second best player in the NFL to Lamar Jackson at the time he got hurt. Like, he may have been. They're not going to replace him with any individual, but they got to try to replace him collectively. But yeah, they believe in Dan Campbell. They don't beat themselves. I mean, Jameson Williams gets suspended. Like, does it even matter? Does it even faze him? Like, does it even? Nope. Is it even a blip? I mean, like, they're a really good, well-coached, confident football team. And if I'm the Houston Texans, I don't feel great about them coming to my town this weekend.
I agree. I think the synergy between Ben Johnson and Jared Goff, who's revitalized his career. Look, he was a number 1 overall pick, guys. I mean, we forget. It's not like he was considered to be, from a talent standpoint, and all the things you want in a quarterback. He wasn't a bum coming out of college. No. He gets drafted high. But the way things played out with the Rams, it felt like he was a throwaway, right? It was like
it was a salary dump.
Yeah, we're moving on. This guy can't get us there. And I think with the synergy between him and Ben Johnson, the OC, and how well that is working, they are the most dangerous offense in the league. And to your point, they're built to run the football. I just think right now nobody's playing better. Now, I say that, and here's the deal. As you see the Lions beat the Packers, they're in charge of that division. You know, they beat the Vikings on the road as well already. But let's talk about Lamar and the Ravens, because we talked about this last week, and this was a beatdown. But Lamar continues to do special things. And Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. Did he miss 2 days of practice last week?
He didn't practice at all. I mean, Friday's a glorified walkthrough, and I think he was limited Friday. Like, he didn't practice last week. And he didn't run in this game, and it was clear he wasn't going to run. And they knew he wasn't going to run. So what did they do? They cut down on the pistol and the shotgun, and they ran Derrick Henry under center behind a 300-pound fullback against what was the best defense in the NFL. And they wore him out. And Lamar played genius football. I mean, everybody knew he couldn't run. Like Sean Payton and Vance Joseph knew he wasn't going to run much. But he still, when he got outside the pocket, his spatial awareness now, Carl, knowing exactly where that first down marker is, exactly where the line of scrimmage is, and just toying with defenders and having this ability to just creep right up to it and draw people to him and deliver a strike downfield, but do it quick enough that he doesn't get hit after the delivery. Like everything, it's a cliche to say things slow down for him, but he does seem to be playing at a different time and space element than everybody else.
Jason, he threw the ball 19 times and won.
19 times for 18 yards of completion.
Huge.
Three interceptions, 3 incompletions, 1 was a drop. Like, on a day where the run game was effective and efficient, it wasn't proficient. Like, Derrick Henry cobbled his way over 100 yards, but when they ran under center with the fullback, he had 5.6 a carry and 2 touchdowns. And so, like, they could beat you that way too. I mean,
crazy.
Their defense still sucks, though. And Bo Nix carved them up in the first half. And then the Ravens held the ball for 12 minutes in the third quarter.
And that's how they're going to win.
3 times in the third quarter. And
game over.
Denver's offense never got on the field. And by the time Denver got the ball again, it's lights out. And we're down by 3 scores. And now a defense that's crappy could tee off on a rookie quarterback. Like, if he beats us, he beats us. But let's go out and try to, get a couple sacks here and pretend we can actually get after the quarterback. So there's some fool's gold in there defensively for the Ravens. They still have major defensive issues. They didn't pressure Bo Nix in the first half. 34 yards to Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams? 34 yards? Not the third down back. Javonte Williams wide open in the middle field for 34 yards. Cortland Sutton for 38. Cortland Sutton for 33. Cortland Sutton for 26. Franklin for 19. Cortland Sutton for 18. Bo Nix overthrew Cortland Sutton wide open in the end zone. He missed 2 other wide open guys. Like, that's all just the first half. Like, so we'll see what they do. They need a free safety. They need another inside linebacker. They desperately need an edge rusher. We'll see what they do. But the defense is still a major, major problem for the Baltimore Ravens. And if they don't make a Super Bowl, I would bet 10 toes and 10 fingers that it's because they face a good quarterback in the playoffs and he scores 1 more point than Lamar Jackson. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to get off the field in January as presently constructed against any kind of team that has a real quarterback.
Here's what's up with Lamar real quick. It's In the Huddle. Subscribe, like us. You can watch us on YouTube at In the Huddle Pod. Guys, here's what's crazy. The only quarterbacks with a higher passer rating through 9 games in NFL history. Lamar's passer rating right now is 120.7.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers in his prime, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and that's a minimum of 200 attempts. Guys, those are all Hall of Famers, right? And the point is, if you don't believe, at least right now, 9 games through, that he is going to be the MVP again in this league, I'm not sure what you're watching. To me, this is a no-brainer.
Oh, it's not even close. 20 touchdowns for 2 picks, over 9 yards per attempt. It's big boy football. So he's number 1 in passer rating. He's also top 5 in passer rating against the blitz, on third down, in the red zone, against zone. Like, he's outside the top 10 against man. But, like, I mean, they used to say you could blitz him and the big blitz, right? oh, if you bring 6 or more, he stinks. Well, True Media has his EPA against the big blitz 6 or more pass rushers is top 5 in the NFL. He's top 5 in EPA against the 5-man rush. Like his EPA per dropback is 0.34. The next closest guy is Jaden Daniels, 0.27. Like that's not even in the same area code. Like, no, it's another level. And then you add in the legs when he needs it. Forget about it. Oh, Jason. Yeah. And he's got a garbage defense. So, like, if I score 30 today, it might not be enough.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's crazy. Are the Cardinals the best team in the NFC West? This is the most – it's a difficult question.
Interesting. Yeah.
But it is. And it's an interesting question at the same time. I don't think this is an overreaction. 49ers were on a bye. Cardinals were in the spotlight. And they rushed for 213 yards in a game where Kyler Murray was not great. He didn't turn it over. But Chicago had 6 sacks and 12 quarterback hits. Arizona, that is, against the Bears' offensive line. So Caleb was, under duress all day.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, are the Cardinals the best team in the NFC West?
I mean, they've got as good a shot as anybody. I think the Rams are the team that's going to come out.
I do too.
But Arizona's got a head-to-head win over the Rams. I mean, they beat the snot out of the Rams. I think that was 41-10 or something like that. I think it was early season, week 2, week 3, and they'll meet again. Do I trust this coach and quarterback more than I trust the Rams? No.
No.
Does Arizona have a better defense than the Rams? No. I mean, everything you're talking about Arizona doing to Chicago, the Rams were doing to Geno. Now, the Rams give up too many deep balls. They give up too many balls over the top of their heads, and they've got to cut down on that. But, like, they're also only allowing, like, 56% completions. Like, the Rams' last 2 draft classes are loaded with defenders who are playing so far above what they're being paid. Like, so I buy the Rams. The Rams did it last year. Like, the Rams were left for dead at their bye last year, 3-6, week 10. They're done. I mean, they were one of the 3 best teams in the NFC by January. But like, could the Rams and Arizona finish ahead of San Francisco? I don't think it's impossible. Like, I don't think it's impossible. It's going to be a hell of a race, McCaffrey's coming back. I don't like San Francisco's defense. I think San Francisco's offensive line has some issues. I don't think it's San Francisco's year. I don't think San Francisco thinks it's their year, but we'll see. Can Debo stay healthy from week to week? McCaffrey's back, but like, is that all that laxicity around the ankle? Is that a ticking time bomb? I mean, nobody thought he was going to be out this long. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I know these guys want to get back. I don't think it's worth the risk if you feel like he's got another 3 good years in front of him. I think you're putting him in danger by bringing him back, to your point. And I heard his dad, or I saw his dad do one of these podcasts, and his dad was saying he basically overworked himself in the summer and ended up hurting both legs. And that was the fundamental problem. So it was one issue, one leg, and then it ended up being both. But yeah, I'm with you on this. And
I'll say this about the Cardinals, though, Carl, because this is like, here's their schedule. Like, here's who they've played: Buffalo, first place team; Rams, killed the Rams. I think the Rams are pretty good. I know from talking to Baldy thinks the Rams are pretty good. Like, I think the Rams are a playoff team, right? They played Detroit, first place team. They played the Commanders, first place team. They played San Francisco, tough rivalry game. San Francisco, pretty good team. They played Green Bay, playoff team from last year. They played the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to the playoffs, right? And then the last 2 weeks, they played Miami and Chicago. So they finally got a reprieve. But they've scored 57 points on those 2 teams. And that's a good Chicago defense. Like, Eberflus is fugazi, and they got issues on offense. And Chicago on the road is a joke. I mean, they're a joke. Like, Eberflus has coached 21 road games. They've had a halftime lead in 2. Okay? They've been tied in 4. You do the math. Okay? You do the math about this guy preparing teams to play on the road. But, like, that's a gauntlet. Like, that's a tough schedule. And for these guys to have won 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5 and control their own destiny in their division. And I'm an Arizona skeptic by heart. But, like, it's kind of interesting. Like,
They are. I'll tell you who's not interesting. and it's the New Orleans Saints. What a mess. So they fired Dennis Allen after they lose to the Carolina Panthers 23-22. They lost 7 in a row. Chris Olave gets hit and ends up leaving the game again with another concussion, his second concussion of the season. And out of all of this, you got a dude on the couch at home tweeting about his former quarterback and Michael Thomas, talking about how Carr put Olave in danger. Cam Jordan, after the game, didn't want to go into the locker room. I mean, I could go on and on. There's a bunch of crap going on with the Saints right now. And, oh, by the way, here come the first-place Falcons in their division. I don't even know if they get right Sunday. That could be a trap game. I've heard that this week. Sure. I don't necessarily know if the Falcons won't be ready. But the fact of the matter is, what happened to Kubiak in this offense and what it looked like 2 weeks? What happened?
Hey, these are the same access merchants who were peddling Bobby Slowick as a top off. He was the number 1 head coaching candidate in the NFL last year at this time. Look what he's doing with CJ Stroud. Oh my God. Oh yeah. His agents got me by the ass. I'll say anything he wants whenever they want me to say. Like, don't get the F out of here. Get out of here. Stop.
They're a joke. They're a joke.
Oh my God. Have some self-respect every once in a while. How about a little common sense and a little self-respect? Know when to say no. Occasionally you can say, take that to the other guy. I actually, there's a barometer here with me. Like, but there isn't. So like, we get this. Like we get this crap. I mean, and look, they've got bigger issues than Kubiak's kid. Like they nepotism ain't the number 1 problem there.
No, it's not. It's not.
But I mean, Dennis Allen, there was never any empirical evidence that he was an NFL head coach. He wasn't an NFL caliber head coach when he was with the Raiders.
Well, they went with him because he was there under Peyton and he was comfortable. It was easy.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Come on.
Mickey Loomis without Sean Payton.
You're seeing it.
It's worse than Belichick without Tom Brady. I'll just put it to you that way. Like, I think we know who the brains of the operation was there.
All right. So let me ask you this. Speaking of Belichick, is he the guy to go there? Is that a job that he's going to end up at?
It's too big of a mess. I think it's too big of a mess. Like there.
Well, so are the Cowboys, and everybody keeps.
He's not going to the Cowboys. He's not going to the Cowboys. He's not going to the Cowboys.
I don't think so either.
I think he's going to the Eagles. I think he's going to the Eagles. Like Sirianni, he almost blew that game again last. Like, there's no way Sirianni. Like, I just don't see a future for Sirianni in Philadelphia in 2025. I think Belichick's going to the Eagles.
Okay.
But no, look, the Saints, I mean, the contracts are so bad that even just the normal cap gymnastics and we'll eat $5 million here or $8 million there, like that alone isn't even going to get it done. Nobody wants the players. The players are old. The players are beat up. Like, it's not even that we're going to dump the contract, but we like the player. Like, it's a mess, man. It's a tangled mess. And they haven't drafted nearly as well since Sean left the building. And there's holes everywhere. They've also punted on evaluating, like they've evaluated a ton of quarterbacks. But I mean, how long ago was it where Drew Brees was going year to year and you knew it was kind of the end? Like that was like 5 years ago. Like the end was near for Drew Brees 5 or 6 years ago. And here we are. And they still don't have anybody on their roster who's worth looking at. Like they don't even want to look at Spencer Rattler this week. They're going to roll with Derek Carr. Like, I don't know, Carl. Even in that division, which is just, usually no great shakes. Like, I'd rather be Carolina than, well, no, I wouldn't because Tepper's still there. Like, if you take the owner out of it, like, I think Carolina's got a better path forward than the Saints do. Like, it's going to take the Saints a year to tear it down before they even get to a point where they start to add it. Like, it's bad.
Before we get out of here, a couple more things. It's in the Huddle, guys. Subscribe, like us, and tell your friends. We put out new episodes each and every week. It's all about ball, man. It's NFL. Baldy will join us Thursday. We'll break down going into this weekend's games. The Bills win and a 61-yard field goal over the Dolphins. And here's my thing about this. So you get to a back, 2 games, 2 L's. Look, you went on a 61-yard field goal. It's a dub. But at the end of the day, like, to me, the Dolphins are buried now, right? This is going to be very difficult.
Buried, but yeah.
Well, but this is going to be, and you talk about, well, they've got a shot with Tua coming back. Well, now you've taken 2 L's with him back. I don't know. What are they missing, Jason? What are they missing?
I mean, they're. I have to look at the head coach. Like, the defense is better than a year ago. I think, given the injury situation and how many guys were coming back from injury, like, I feel like the defense is okay, at least okay-ish. I think Anthony Weaver's doing a decent job there with the hand he was dealt. I mean, they played a run of games against teams that aren't great and lost to them all, including getting obliterated by the Titans. Like, if you think the quarterback sucked, well, I got news for you. McDaniel picked the quarterback. Like, it's his offense. It's his system. Like, Snoop Huntley wasn't there because he got foisted upon the head coach. He's there because the head coach thought he could win games with him. Same thing with Skylar Thompson. Like, it's not Chris Greer. Chris Greer's not telling him, hey, we really got to have this guy. Get out of here. So, I mean, the scheme, I think people have kind of figured some things out there. You know, even in that Buffalo game, man, it's a high volume of passes that really aren't going anywhere. Like, the deep stuff to Tyreek Hill has sort of started drying up since the middle of last season, and there hasn't been anything to compensate for it. They're running the ball pretty efficiently, but they don't have any great ideas in the red zone. Like, I just they've never beaten teams that have as much talent as them or more. Like, I like, if they had the exact same team and they fired McDaniel and brought in Jim Harbaugh, do you think they go winless without their starting quarterback? Like, do you think they just get obliterated? I don't. You know, like, I don't. Like, is he just too much of a player's guy? Like, he's a great guy, and he'll wear his heart on his sleeve and like all that stuff. But, like, there is some talent there, and they're able to manifest that talent against lesser teams. But we've got a lot of evidence here now about what happens to them when the stakes are raised, when they really need a game, like they really needed a game in Buffalo, and they find a way to come up short. Now, is Tyler Bass ever going to make that kick again the rest of his career? Maybe not, but he made it that day, and he made it at their expense. And and that part of it isn't surprising, because Miami wasn't going to win that game. Whether it was that kick or overtime, they're not winning that game. They don't win that game. So I don't know, man. Like, it's not the worst offensive line in the world. You know, they paid Armstead a lot of money. Like, a chain is really kind of effective in that scheme. And even Mostert, who you think every 2 weeks you think Mostert's done, and then he looks okay again. They don't manage games very well. They don't win games that are difficult to win. They don't manage fourth quarters all that well. I have to kind of look at the coach.
Yeah, Tua overall, 25 of 28. He threw 2 touchdowns for 231. Again, he missed 4 games.
Think about that. Think about how many times he's throwing the ball and where it's not going. You know,
right.
The yak isn't what it used to be, and there used to be 2 or 3 over 30 yards to Tyreek and maybe, you know, a deep one to Waddle or an underneath one to Waddle, and then he takes it another 30 yards a yak. Like, that easy stuff that just used to be sitting at the bottom of the barrel and we could grab it whenever we want. It really hasn't been there since the middle of last season.
I agree. Jason, man, great stuff as always as we take a look around the NFL. Guys, more trades to come. We'll recap Thursday, the full trades, as more stuff happens. But I'll say this. You saw DeAndre Hopkins pay off for the Chiefs last night, right?
Yes.
We knew he was going to have an impact. He already paid off, you know, for what that trade is. I loved his end zone celebration where he did remember the Titans dance. And,
yeah.
You know, he said, I'm all about Nashville. I love my time there, and talked about
he loves his time there because it's over. He wasn't loving his time there while he was there.
He didn't have a quarterback.
Let's keep it real about that. He loves it because they set his ass free.
Well, he said the GM ran Carthon. He said he wouldn't be with the Chiefs if it wasn't for him. So,
yeah.
But long story short, these trades, some of them will have big time dividends. Others, not so much. We're going to see how it shakes out. Guys, it's in the huddle. Back at you on Thursday, and make sure you're here. Baldy will join us as well. Everybody have a great day and go vote.
Yes, vote, vote, vote. Democracy, baby, while we still have it.